Today, I'm going to be sharing 3 simple strategies that you can start implementing today to create more self-discipline. Every great accomplishment in life requires the self-discipline to create it, but if that was easy, there'd be a whole lot more successful and physically fit people in the world. So although it's not easy, these strategies are simple and will help a lot, so stay tuned. The challenge for most of us is our brains. Your resistance to change or building a new desired habit is brain-based, so don't beat yourself up if you struggle with this. It's natural and it's the way our brains are wired. Our amygdala, which is the oldest part of our brains and ensured the survival of our species in the early days of our evolution, this is the center for our fight, flight, and freeze response. And it becomes activated anytime we veer out of our norm. In the early days, it kept us safe by avoiding anything new or unknown because typically that meant danger. Now, of course, we're no longer threatened by man-eating tigers, and the idea of changing your career path, as an example, is not going to put you in mortal danger. But it means a change. Potentially a big change. So your amygdala is going to sense danger and it's going to throw up resistance to that change. Your subconscious brain plays a big part as well because that's where habitual behavior is based. Once established, a habit is relatively easy to maintain because it doesn't require active participation from your conscious mind. Prior to a behavior becoming habitual, it requires effort from your conscious mind. This is where your motivation and willpower are based, and unfortunately, we have a limited supply of these. This is why you may find yourself running out of it and going back to your old ways and habits. Once you develop a routine and the behavior becomes habitual, it requires less energy and focus from you, and it moves into your subconscious to maintain it. And because habits are so much easier to maintain than for your brain to start a new behavior, which requires motivation and willpower, your brain will offer resistance to the idea, even when that behavior change is going to be better for you. This is why self-discipline is such a valuable attribute that few are able to leverage as often as they'd like. It requires self-discipline to stick with something long enough for it to become a habit. Understanding this relationship of habits to brain-based resistance is going to help you be kind to yourself and not give up when you run into that inevitable resistance. Realizing this, you can also begin building self-discipline with these 3 strategies. Strategy number 1 is to start small. It's way easier to start and maintain a new habit that requires less effort from you because you're not going to use up all of your willpower and motivation. As an example, instead of telling yourself you're going to go for a 3-mile run every day when you normally don't exercise, you may start with doing a short walk or exercise spurt to build the habit and the identity of someone who's active. Or instead of saying that you're going to cut social media out of your life 24/7, you might give yourself a time limit to go on social at a certain time of the day for a limited amount of time. The idea is to build success starting with a small baby habit that you can actually succeed at. And this helps you build momentum and starts creating a reward loop because you see yourself doing it, and it makes it easier then to expand the habit into something bigger and closer to your original goal. Strategy number 2 is to have accountability. I don't know why more people don't use this one. There is nothing wrong with recruiting help through an accountability partner if it works for you. 86% of the population is externally motivated, which means that we do better when we share our goals and we have accountability. This isn't a weakness. It's the way most people work. So I encourage you to work with this. Use it to your advantage. If you want to do something that you know you're going to struggle with or you have resistance with, besides my advice of starting small to build that habit, I really want to encourage you to share your exact goal and a regular reporting or check-in strategy with a friend. Or in the case of eating or exercise, maybe you can recruit someone to go on the journey with you, and then you can encourage each other. Strategy number 3, and this is a big one. Manage your expectations. Most people are really hard on themselves. They have this perfect idea of success and get really down on themselves when they aren't able to do it right out of the gate. And frequently, they quit when they don't get it right the first time. Think about what you would say to your best friend under similar circumstances. Would you agree that they're a failure? Or would you advise them to have patience and stick with it? Get up, wipe themselves off, and try again. You should always treat yourself at least as kindly as you would your partner or best friend. Set yourself up for success. Tell yourself no one is perfect, and it is likely going to take a while for you to build or break a habit. Then remind yourself of all the great reasons you decided that you wanted to do it, and tell yourself that you are in it for the long haul. Overnight success isn't a thing, but if it is a worthwhile goal, it's worth putting in the time and having patience with yourself to get to it. Like any other skill, self-discipline is not going to happen overnight. Even if you've developed it in one area of your life, it may take time to apply it consistently in a new area. It will take time and it will take practice. Have patience with yourself and remember that most worthwhile accomplishments take time.